Welcome to part 3 of 4 in this video series. If you are still watching, honestly, I am proud of you. You are taking your transition into tech seriously, and it's gonna make your life that much easier. And so before going into this video, I just wanna take a second to introduce myself. My name is Michelle. I have been a tech recruiter for over 4 years. I've hired for over 50 companies across Canada and the US. I've interview coached thousands of people and negotiated over $5 million in salaries. My goal in creating this series is really to help you make a more educated decision as you transition your career into tech. The type of person that this series is designed for is ultimately a people person. So these jobs are perfect for you. They require no coding, no technical skills, even no tech experience required. I have worked with servers, golf course attendants, call center agents, you name it. And the great news is that once you get your foot in the door in any one of these 3 areas, you can move around pretty easily. And so you don't need to overanalyze when deciding, do I want to go into sales? Do I want to go into success? Maybe I want to go into recruitment. Really, whichever one you can get your foot in the door in is going to be a perfectly good option, because once you're in tech, all of the skills are super transferable and you won't have to start from the bottom again. Really, once you do an entry-level job in tech, you will be able to move up relatively easily. Today, I want to talk about customer success. There's really 2 roles we're going to focus on: customer success manager and customer success agent. And depending on the unique skill set you have and develop and your interests, there's honestly lots of roles that you can branch out into from there. But these are kind of the most common roles that you see in a customer success side of the business. And so most people get into customer success because they love working with people, they love teaching, they love solving problems, training, relationship building. It's a very people-oriented role. And the other reason is maybe they've considered sales, but they ultimately don't want to be an SDR, or they don't want to do cold calling. Sales maybe just isn't for them. And so a customer success manager is the most commonly aspired to title in customer success. It is all about relationships. Depending on the company you work for, you would have somewhere from 15 to 150 clients to manage. I'm going to go through a couple different pieces of the role. One of them is onboarding. So once the salesperson signs the new account, you're the first point of contact for them. Your goal is product adoption. And so it's one thing that they bought the product, but it's another thing to get 5, 10, hundreds of people to actually use it in their day-to-day lives. And so you're the person who's going to do the training, bring everybody up to speed on the changes and processes that they're going to need to follow, how to use that software, and ultimately handle kind of any smaller bugs that might come out in that process. An example of this is, let's say you bought 100 people exercise bands. Probably half of those people would have them sit in the corner unless you had somebody come in, train them on how to use the exercise bands, when to use the exercise bands, what the benefits of using them are going to be. And that's a super simple example, but with a lot of these software tools, they're not as simple as an exercise band. They are complex. It might take some change and some adjustment. And so you're the person who's ultimately going to facilitate that change for them. The second piece is relationship building. And so your day-to-day is going to be calls, Zoom meetings, working internally with the sales and product teams at your company to make sure that clients are happy, reporting problems that they have, troubleshooting, and just generally making sure that your clients have absolutely everything they need to be as happy as possible. Compensation-wise, for a customer success manager role, which is usually not the entry-level position, but the one step up from there, is really going to depend on the company. The structure is traditionally a base salary, and then sometimes there's a bonus in there as well from 5 to 20% of your salary. And so for somebody who's going into their first customer success role, average total compensation, I would say, is going to be somewhere between $60,000 and $85,000. And then once you have a couple years of experience in customer success, that number will go up. I would say on the low end, it'll be around 80. If you work at a really big company or like have been in customer success for a while, it could be 100, 120, 150. And again, you can still branch out into a number of different kind of specialist roles once you are an expert in the product. It just takes a little bit longer to get to the money compared to sales. The entry level position in customer success is going to be more of a customer success agent, customer support specialist. Titles really vary, but basically it's less relationship based and heavier on the problem solving. The way I describe it is this is ticket based. And so basically your client is going to file a ticket. Let's say this client is Facebook, and a Facebook user reaches out to Facebook and says, I can't get into my account. Or maybe for whatever reason, Facebook isn't allowing them to start a Facebook group. Your job would be to take that ticket, whether it's a call, an email, maybe it's a message. You would take that message and you would be responsible for figuring out, okay, does this person not know how to start a Facebook group, or is there actually something wrong on our end that's preventing them to be able to start a Facebook group? And I guess one step deeper than that is is this just a them problem, or is this something that's happening for every single customer? And so you're kind of the detective and the problem solver for these specific tickets and problem instances, and it is your job to solve problems for other people. If you've never worked in software before, this is a perfect role for you because you are going to become such an expert in software products. That is both on a front end and a back end perspective. If you don't know what that means, basically think about Facebook again. You as the user, you see the front end of Facebook. You see what it's made to look like. But there's also an entire back-end system that runs behind the scenes that keeps what you see going. And so you would get to be in the front, you get to be in the back, and get to see the full picture of how the software company as well as the software solution works as a whole. This type of role is the kind of thing that people will usually do for 6 months to 2 years at the absolute most before moving into more of a strategic, relationship-oriented position. And so because it's more entry level, obviously compensation is going to reflect that. I would say on the low end, probably going to be around the 45 mark. On the high end for this type of role, probably 60-ish. This will depend on the company, on the industry, on your experience, on your background. It's ultimately your job to use your discretion in your job search and also advocate for yourself, negotiate for yourself. Do not take the compensation details that they give you at face value. You do have the opportunity to negotiate even when you have little to no experience. In addition to these two roles, most common roles, there's also niche specialties that you can go into as well. So things like just being a training specialist or just doing onboarding, being an expert in one single product that they have. So again, let's say Facebook has Marketplace, Facebook has groups, Facebook has all these things. You might be an expert just in Facebook groups. That's like a specific job title, believe it or not. Customer success can be a great bridge into other types of roles, even things outside of customer facing, maybe project management, product management, user research, generally just a good foot in the door opportunity to really get to understand tech and software at a greater level. The one disclaimer I would put in this is there is so much title confusion when it comes to customer success. And so you could have what I just described as a customer success manager role be called an account manager role at one company. It might be called a customer support manager at another company. It might be called a customer success agent at another company. And so really read each job description thoroughly, because that is ultimately going to tell you more than anything what they're actually looking for. Don't just base your search off of the titles alone. In the next video, the last video in this series, I'm going to talk about one more type of role that is perfect for people in the tech space. I'm really excited. Thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to see you in the next video.